Hey everybody, I'm Dan Keppen. I got a gift for Mike. Extensive notes that I took because I'm known to ramble and I want to stay under 5 minutes. My wife Dina is here. She's part of the Keppen team. We are both huge fans of Mike Byrne. I'm currently Executive Director of the Family Farm Alliance. We represent irrigators in all 17 Western states advocating for farmers' water rights and ranchers' water rights. Dina is a pediatric physical therapist. She works for a nonprofit clinic in Klamath Falls. And she also works for Modoc County School District. And for the last 20 years, she's driven down 1 day a week to Surprise Valley and Alturas to help with kids that have some very tough physical challenges. We moved to the Klamath Basin in late 2001. That was the year the water was cut off to Klamath Project irrigators for the first time in 95 years. I was hired later that year to serve as Executive Director of the Klamath Water Users Association, and that's where I met Mike Byrne. The water users office at that time was on Patterson Street, right across from where the Big R is, so the old Big R is in Klamath Falls. And one of the challenges I had when I first started that job was people would just come in off the streets. I mean, I was used to working in Sacramento, kind of a distant from our members in the Sacramento Valley that we represented. And people would just come in, just to introduce themselves or just to BS. And it was hard, right? I'm trying to do my job, right? Get on the phone and set up meetings and all this stuff. And these people are coming in and talking to me, unannounced. But I soon learned that became part of the job, right? I mean, these people, for the first time ever, had their water taken away from the federal government. And their lives were upside down. And sometimes all they wanted to do was come in and vent. They could not believe that the government had taken away their water. And a lot of times these guys had some really good ideas that they want to talk about and strategies they want to discuss. And Mike was one of those guys. He had really good ideas and just amazing political instincts. He's definitely one of the smartest people I've ever met. Also one of the funniest, wittiest people I've ever met, as people have said already. I don't know about you, but how many times have you been talking to Mike and he'll say something and he's got a twinkle in his eye and you know it's supposed to be funny and you're going, yeah. And then the next day, that's what he was talking about. Or like 2 days later, that's what he was talking about. There's some people out there that are a step ahead of us, right? Mike is like a day or two ahead of me anyways. The guy is just a force. And he's a perfect example. One of my old bosses once told me when I worked in Sacramento. A great political advocate is somebody that can walk across wet concrete and not leave footprints. Mike's done so many amazing things that you've heard about, but a lot of things that you haven't heard about. And he's such a humble guy, he would not let you even know. So I just want to look at a couple of the things that I witnessed Mike do when I was at the Klamath Water Users almost over 20 years ago. As Bab said, he helped dream up the idea of the Bucket Brigade. And at that time, that was the largest act of civil disobedience in the history of Oregon. And Bob, you were a big part of that too. He helped secure $50 million in Farm Bill conservation title monies that went to the Klamath Project and irrigators elsewhere outside of the project. He brought in two members of the Bush administration, two cabinet members, Secretary of Interior, Secretary of Agriculture, to reopen the head gates after the water was shut off in 2001. He's the real deal. I mean, he's a cowboy. He helps feed our country, he helps feed the world, and he's an amazing steward of the environment as well. In 2004, the Secretary of Agriculture gave him an award that recognized Mike for his leadership in Western conservation. I'm not sure a lot of people remember that. He's always someone that we want to connect to. When you have visiting dignitaries or media, it's like you want them to see Mike's the real deal, Byrne. I actually have a friend named Mike Deal, So a couple years ago, the Sacramento Bee reporter, Brian Sabolo, came and he did a series of stories about people doing good conservation work and ranching in Northern California. He interviewed Mike and they did a profile of Mike and his ranch. It's the best PR we could have ever done. It was just him being interviewed and the story and the stuff that he's done for the land. I always say Mike makes good things happen in Modoc County and beyond. And he's also a really good friend of our family. When we first moved here 23 years ago, it really wasn't easy. I mean, we were kind of like the new kids, right? I still feel like I'm kind of a new kid. But Mike and I started off very cautiously, sort of in our relationship. But I felt like with time, he was one of the first people that really accepted and felt like, made Dina and I feel like we were part of the community. So many of you might know the story about Dina and I. We were married for 18 years, and then we divorced a few years after I left Clinical Water Users. And then through a miraculous series of events, we ended up back together and remarried 7 years ago. So, so I've actually been married twice, but to the same woman. So every time Mike sees Duda, he'll say, "You know, I like you a lot better than his first wife." So I'll wrap this up. I have a very small gift I'd like to give Mike on behalf of the Family Farm Alliance. In recent years, we've spent a lot of time defending the livestock industry and forage producers and alfalfa producers from critics who think that alfalfa uses too much water. And so as part of our education campaign, we produced these limited edition hats, the cutting edge in casual Western attire. So on the back it says Family Farm Alliance, and on the front it says, "Make alfalfa great again." So I'm really grateful to be able to speak here tonight. The turnout tonight is a testament to what a good man this guy, Mike Byrne, is. And knowing and working with Mike has probably been really one of the honors of my life. So thank you.